What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we're going to be talking about exotics, but not the exotics that are currently in Destiny 2, however, the exotics that we have not yet seen released. To be specific, we are going to be talking about the Destiny 1 exotics that have never been released in Destiny 2, and whether we can expect to see some of these return or not. Now before we jump into things, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button below and the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We are still recruiting for our community and clan, so be sure to visit the Discord link in the description below if you're looking for a new home for your Guardian. So let's talk about exotics. Destiny 2, at the time of this video, has 81 exotic weapons total, including return and new exotics. Now Destiny 1 had a total of 68 exotics. Now if we factor out the 16 raid weapons that were given exotic status in their adept forms, Destiny 1 had a total of 52 exotic weapons. And out of those 52 exotics, we have had 22 return back to Guardians in Destiny 2 after those Cabal assholes took everything that we held dear to us, including all of the weapons in our vaults, and took them right away. I'm sure the sting of that feeling has not left the minds of veteran Guardians out there. I know it hasn't for me. But over time, our hearts have been smoothed back by the return and re-rendering of not only several exotic weapons, but a ton of legendary weapons and armor sets. And even though it's up for debate on how well these have actually been received by the community, one thing is always certain. Guardians, new and old, will always get excited at the return of a coveted Destiny 1 exotic, and we've seen that bear truth with the return of the Vex Mythoclast most recently. And it's because of this that brings me to putting this video together, because to date we have had so many exotics return back into our vaults, but with Destiny 2 presumably carrying on for a few more years, how likely is it that we might see more and possibly all of the original Destiny exotics return to us? And out of those exotics that we have yet to have return, we have quite a few that I feel strongly about their potential returns. But even within those potentials, there are some that I just really don't feel will ever make the cut for Destiny 2. So to start, we have the Zalo Supercell. Now the Zalo was a really awesome weapon. I immensely loved the Zalo Supercell myself, but the Zalo Supercell has been kind of replaced with the Risk Runner, so to see it coming back into Destiny 2, I kind of think it would be a waste of time. Now we've seen the Hardlight, the Suros, and the Monte Carlo all return. The First Curse is a hand cannon that we've not seen, even though we saw the Thorn come back. The First Curse was, kind of replicated after the Thorn, and it was through the Thorn quest that you got the First Curse. To see the First Curse come back in, I don't think that it's all that likely, just because of so many hand cannons right now in Destiny. I just don't see that the First Curse could really fit in well. Now, the Last Word was a weapon that we've gotten back along with the Hawkmoon, so most of all of the exotic hand cannons that Guardians loved in D1 have come back. As far as some of the other weapons, the No Time to Explain was recently re-released in the Beyond Light DLC. We got Bad Juju before that. Now the Red Death was an exotic pulse rifle that we had in Destiny 1 that D2 showed us the Crimson as its replacement. Now to see the Red Death in its pulse rifle version would be an interesting twist, since we have the Crimson and have had it for a long time now. I don't think that Guardians would complain by any means seeing the Red Death return in a pulse rifle form instead of a hand cannon. But to say that it's going to be coming back, I don't really know, but I feel like, if any of these exotics should, that is one that definitely should. Now the Boolean Gemini is another scout rifle exotic weapon that we have not seen return, as well as the Touch of Malice. Guardians will remember this as one of the raid exotics from the Taken King, one of the best exotics that we had out of the raids. It had the most unique capabilities, but since we've gotten things like Tommy's Matchbook come out at us that actually inflicts damage to the Guardian using it, I think that the chance of seeing a Touch of Malice return could be likely. But time will tell really on that one. I feel like it would definitely have to be tied into a Taken themed encounter, maybe a future Taken raid, that we could see the Touch of Malice return. Now, we've gotten the Ace of Spades returned. I've mentioned that, with all of the other exotic hand cannons. But going further down the list, we've got quite a few things coming up that we haven't seen, mainly specific to classes. We've got the Fabian Strategy, which was a Titan-only weapon. Now, the Ace of Spades was, in Destiny 1, just a Hunter-only weapon, and in the Warlocks had the Tylock, an exotic scout rifle. Now, to see the Fabian Strategy and the Tylock come back, it would make sense since the Ace of Spades returned and was given to all Guardians this time. I would love to see the Tylock come back. I definitely know that there's plenty of Warlock mains out there that would really love to have that one back as well. The Fabian Strategy was probably one of the best auto rifles in the hands of a Titan, and to be able to see that come back would be really awesome to see, no doubt. Now, we've gotten returns of the Jade Rabbit and the Mid-Eye Multi-Tool and the Outbreak Prime, but a couple of other exotic kinetic weapons that we haven't gotten back would be the Necrochasm and the Kovastav. Now, I'm particularly favorable towards the Kovastav. I felt like it was one of the most versatile weapons in Destiny 1, being able to convert itself between a fully automatic weapon, a single shot weapon. You could turn this into like a scout rifle, an auto rifle, a high firing auto rifle. It was almost like what the Mida multi-tool should have been. So I would really love for the Kovastav to return. It was the very first weapon that we ever got our hands on in Destiny 1 and even in Destiny 2, so why not have the Kovastav return? And honestly, with the Old Chicago teasing and coming into the Witch Queen, going into Old Chicago, into those tombs and those vaults, I feel like the Kovastav would fit in perfectly as a return exotic. Now, the Necrochasm was one of the coolest auto rifles because it shot those green bullets, and it was really Hive themed, so it kind of plays on to the Touch of Malice. It's just another one of those weapons, a Hive taken type weapon that we've yet to see return. And Old Chicago could be another stomping ground for a return to the Necrochasm. But time will tell on the Necrochasm itself. I know that it was one of the, like I said, the best auto rifles in my opinion because it created that Thrall explosion. So to see that return would really be great, especially with how impactful things like Firefly are now. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there were a ton of raid exotics that were raid legendary weapons that in year 3 they bumped up to exotics. We're not going to really talk about those or fixate on those today. We have started to see some of those weapons like the Fatebringer return in the Vault of Glass. We also recently saw the Vex Mythoclast return with the Vault of Glass. We've saw the return of the Telesto. We've seen Queensbreaker Bow, the Chaperone, the Fourth Horseman, the Lord of Wolves. But some of the things we've missed out on are the Plan C fusion rifle. I honestly don't think that we would actually end up seeing the Plan C exotic rifle come back, just because of its primary perks have already been broken up and established into legendary fusion rifle perks that you can get on random rolls. So I don't think that the Plan C or the Pocket Infinity would ever return to Destiny 2 because of those sole bases, unless if they found ways to give them new updated perks. Now, Invective falls in the same category as the Icebreaker, and the Icebreaker is a weapon that Bungie said they will never bring back, and it's most likely because of its ability to spawn its own ammunition. And the Invective is the same way. It's just the shotgun version of the Icebreaker. And it's because of that I feel like neither one of these weapons will probably ever get a chance at returning, but I feel like Guardians would really love for both of these weapons to be returned. The Universal Remote is another shotgun that we've not yet seen return, but again, it kind of falls in the same line that I feel like with the Plan C and Pocket Infinity. We have those perks elsewhere, so there's really not a need for them anymore. Now, I mentioned the Queensbreaker Bow and the Lord of Wolves. Both of these were Fallen type weapons that we saw in the Prison of Elders. The one that is missing is the Dreg's Promise sidearm. Now, this is an exotic sidearm that was really fun to use because it had these ricochet rounds that would bounce around everywhere. So it could definitely make a good fit into the exotics in Destiny 2, but since we've already seen Lord of Wolves and Queensbreaker Bow come out without the Dreg's Promise, I feel like that's sign in itself that we'll never see the Dreg's Promise come back in Destiny 2. Now, One sidearm that we've not seen, but I am waiting for the day for it to come back. I was feeling strongly, back when Beyond Light came out, that we were going to see this, but the Trespasser exotic sidearm is the one exotic sidearm that I feel is most definitely going to return at some point into this game, or at least maybe it's just because I'm so biased because I loved this sidearm so much. But definitely feel like the chances are high for the Trespasser coming back. It was fun to use, great in PvP. Really, that's where it had its home, was in PvP. Now we've got a couple of sniper rifles that I want to talk about that we've yet to see. The Black Spindle, we did get to see a return of it, although it was just given a new name, the Whisperer. But so we've got other sidearms like the Zen Meteor. Created these huge solar explosions, that after it charged up, great, awesome sniper rifle to use. Could one-shot people in supers, crazy highlight reels the Zen Meteor made. It was great for PvE as well, especially for solar-based encounters. But it hasn't returned yet, and to know why, I really don't know. I don't understand why, of all weapons, the Zen Meteor hasn't returned yet. So I feel like at some point, if we can get enough fans on this train, the Zen Meteor definitely could make a great home in Destiny 2. Now, Patience and Time is another sniper rifle. This one gives you invisibility. So to have that in Destiny 2 for all characters, pretty awesome, but I don't think it's ever really going to happen. I feel like if that time were to have happened, it would have already come and gone. So I really don't think like the future is going to bear very well for the Patience and Time, but something that I feel like I would love to see. I'm sure that I'm going to have a lot of comments about this. The No Land Beyond sniper rifle. Undoubtedly one of the most terrorizing sniper rifles in PvP in Destiny 1. Crazy crits, crazy doubles, crazy triples. The No Land Beyond was just a weapon of its own. The crazy amount of plays that could occur with this sniper rifle, I just can't even begin to explain. So I feel like, though, the chances of this sniper coming back are slim to none. I feel like the Gallahorn and Icebreaker have better chances at returning in Destiny 2 than the No Land Beyond. And I hate saying that because it was a really fun weapon to use, especially if you could pull off the reload glitch, but I don't think it's going to return, guys. I'm really sorry to say, especially to you PvP fanatics out there that loved this in D1. I just don't think it's ever going to come back. Now, the Hereafter is another sniper rifle that we've kind of seen, its perks distributed between newer sniper rifles in Destiny 2. So I don't think that the Hereafter is going to be a weapon that we would ever see come back. Now, we've kind of touched base on all of our special and kinetic weapons. What's left? Well, the heavy weapons, and we've got some big heavy hitters. We've already seen some returns from the Sleeper Simulant and the Thunderlord and Truth, but there's some really good ones that we're missing out on. Super Good Advice is one of them, but because of its perks being distributed now into legendary weapons, Super Good Advice probably never going to come back. But a couple of weapons that could really see the return would be the Dragon's Breath. Now, this one has been rumored many times over throughout Destiny 2 that it would be returning, but never has. Just like Gallahorn, both of these exotic rocket launchers could really fit in nicely, especially with the addition of things, with the addition of some of the newer exotic grenade launchers and rocket launchers that Destiny 2 has had. Dragon's Breath and Gallahorn make perfect sense to be return weapons in Destiny 2. Now, we've also got the 3 exotic swords from Destiny 1. These were the Boltcaster, the Raise Lighter, and the Dark Drinker. Well, we've gotten all of those in legendary form now in Destiny 2. So I feel like the likelihood of us ever getting those or the Young Wolf's Howl exotic sword are probably slim to none. I feel like we're pretty good on those, on the legendary versions of these swords being scattered throughout. And the exotic swords that we have now are just so much better, I feel, than what we had in Destiny 1. So I don't think that these 4 swords are ever going to return. Now, we've also got a couple of heavy machine guns that we have not seen return in Destiny 2. We've got the Nemesis Star. This one was one of the coolest weapons, or coolest looking weapons that Destiny had, and it didn't come out until year 3, but was still one of the coolest ones, and I think that it would really make a good return in Destiny 2. Two other exotic heavy machine guns would be the Nova Mortis and the Abaddon. Now both of these are pretty much just Void and Solar versions of the Void and Solar versions of the Thunderlord. So if anything, I feel like it would make more sense to maybe update the Thunderlord to give it Void and Solar abilities, to be able to switch off on those, than to just bring in two entirely new exotic machine guns. I always kind of felt like that in Destiny 1 too. So I really don't feel like it's possible for the Nova Mortis and Abaddon to come back, but hey, you never really know, do you? The last one that I really want to talk about is I did a video on this about a year ago, because again, there's been so many rumors, so many leaks and things said about some of the weapons coming back, and the Gjallarhorn has been one of those that have really been on the forefront. Gjallarhorn in Destiny 1 was a moneymaker. There was so many toys made of replications of the Gjallarhorn. So much money Bungie made off of the Gjallarhorn that it's unreal. And even coming down onto an in-game aspect, Guardians couldn't even get into certain fire teams if they didn't have the Gjallarhorn. If that tells you how influential the Gjallarhorn was in Destiny 1. And I think that's probably why we haven't seen it return in Destiny 2. But because we've got things like the Deathbringer, it really doesn't make sense that we wouldn't see the Gjallarhorn ever return. So I feel like, we may have to wait forever and a day, but at some point, it just does not make sense to me that Bungie would never bring the Gjallarhorn back into Destiny. It just doesn't make sense, guys. We've had too many things, flaunted in our face to not have the Gjallarhorn come back, and I feel like Guardians across the country, across the world, are in the exact same boat. If you've ever had a chance to actually fire one of these things, you will know what I'm talking about. The Gjallarhorn is hands down one of the best weapons that have ever been put into a Guardian's hands. And that's all of the exotics, Guardians. Which ones do you feel like are more likely than not to come back? And which ones do you feel are never going to have a chance? Do you feel like we ever have a chance at the Icebreaker? Well, let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to hit the like button below and the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Stay tuned to the channel for more great Destiny content, and until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.